Hello. Today we're looking at essential question number 4, what is literary text really about? We're going to participate in another close reading of a section from Rogue Wave. Remember that close reading is when we read the text 3 different levels, focusing on 3 different things each time. For each reading, we get deeper into the text. So the first reading, we focus on what the text says. The second reading, we focus on how the text says it. And the third reading, we focus on why the text matters. Throughout this activity, we're going to focus on the learning targets of analyzing how the setting of a story interacts with characters and being able to determine a theme and analyze its development over the course of the text. So let's break down those learning targets. We're in the literature learning target packet. We talked about this thing yesterday, but just to review, determine a theme or a central idea of a text is just a fancy way of saying we're going to decide the hidden message or meaning a written work gives the reader. And then to analyze how a theme develops over the course of the text is a fancy way of saying that we're going to look close read, at what specific parts or features of the text the author chose to include to show the hidden message throughout the entire work. We have a new note here, and that's the first part. It's on page 4 again, or excuse me, page 2 again. This time we're looking at learning target number 6. We're looking at to analyze how particular elements of a story, drama, or poem interact. To break this one down, that simply means, in easy terms, to look close read, at how different literary parts or terms within the story affect each other in that written work. Because setting does impact the characters. The setting can impact the plot. The characters can impact the conflict. All of the literary terms or literary parts can interact each other. And that's what we're going to focus on for today's close reading of a section from Rogue Wave. So let's look at what you're going to do. For your first reading of the 3 phases of the close reading, you're going to read it looking for and focusing and highlighting keywords that show the setting and character details in the text. As your margin notes, simply write the word setting or character, identifying which part that note goes along with. After you personally within your group have picked one highlight for setting and one for character and labeled it, discuss what you found with your group and then answer the following question. What do the details suggest that this setting is like? Based on what it says about setting, what might that setting be like? And what did you learn about the characters in the section of the text from these details? So from your character details, what do you learn about those characters? And that's what you'll rate in the box for answering this question. For the second reading of the text, or phase 2, where we focus on the how, you're going to reread the section of Rogue Wave, this time focusing on highlighting details from the setting and their effect on Scoot and Sully. So you're looking for details that show some sort of effect on Scoot and Sully. When you make a margin note, please highlight something for Scoot and label that note as this is an effect on Scoot. And if it's a setting detail that affects Sully, highlight this is a setting detail and then highlight Sully and margin note Sully for that. After you get your highlights, discuss with your group what you thought was a highlight that shows the setting's effect on Scoot and Sully, and discuss why you thought so. When you do just make that discussion, you're going to answer the following question. Knowing what the setting's like from when you talked about the setting in phase 1, how does the setting affect Scoot? And how does the setting affect Sully? So you're going to be using your discussion here to help answer, ultimately, with the details you found, how do you see the setting affecting each of the characters? You'll rate your answer to that question in that section. For your third and final phase of your close reading, you're going to focus on highlighting one sentence in the section that you think helps to support a specific theme, message, or life lesson. You're not going to margin note what you think that message is, just write the word theme in the margin. After everyone finds a highlight that they mention they think there's a theme there, I want you to discuss what you highlighted. As a group, decide, is there a common trend? Did you all highlight the same thing? Or do you have different things highlighted, but do they all tie into the same common theme or message? As you discuss that, decide what you can put for this question. What is the theme or message that you, the reader, can take away from this section of Rogue Wave? Here's a special one. If you can do this part, you have mastered the close read. If applicable, can you figure out how your theme that you've come up with connects to what you discussed for the settings effect on characters? That is an optional. For those that really have dived into this text well and understand it, try to see if you can connect your theme to what you discussed about the settings effect on the characters. How is your theme part of the settings effect on characters? If you can do that, you are the close read master. So that is what we're going to be doing today for close reading, focusing on the learning targets of how the setting affects the characters, as well as determining and analyzing a theme running throughout the section of Rogue Wave. Go ahead and get working.